Namaste and good evening to all our viewers. My name is Neha Bagdi, and I'm so excited to invite all of you on our brand new show, Creative Times. Friends, the School Times is committed to inform and educate all our audiences about everything related to education and learning. So many of you have been connected with us on our platform for the last several months, and you all have been seeing all the different shows that we have, like Ed Talks with Amitabh, where we bring prominent educationists to talk about something related to education. We have a word with the world, where we have panel discussion on relevant social topics. We have Sahityanjali Tera Tujhko Arpan, where we invite Sahityakars, Hindi writers, to talk about their journey in the field of Hindi literature. And we also have math debate, where so many students from across the country, in fact, across the world, come and participate in a math debate. And now we are elated to bring to you a show that deals with creativity. We all had extracurricular activities in school. We had so many interests and hobbies while we were students. But as we grow up, in the hustle and bustle of our busy lives, we get busy with academics, our careers, maybe looking after the family. Uh, and in the midst of all of this, some of us lose touch on our hobbies, our interests, and our creative side. And our show is an initiative to get back all the interest in the creative fields. We hope that our show will be able to reignite your passion, your interest in the field of art, craft, because we plan to invite a lot of people from the field of creativity who will showcase their work and also give us a lecture and demonstration of their expertise. And today, on the first episode of Creative Times, we have Anab joining us. Anab is from New Delhi. She is currently pursuing her PhD in English literature. And while her academic journey continues, while her family life continues, she has not lost touch with her interest in embroidery, knitting, crochet, which she had learned from her grandmother and mother. And today, she also has a small business which is called Uni by Anna, wherein she hand makes all the beautiful products, and which are, if anybody is interested, you can go to her Instagram page where she displays all her products. And she also makes kits and makes it available for people to buy and learn and reignite their passion of knitting and crocheting. And I'm so excited to have her as our first guest. Welcome to the show, Anab.
Thank you so much, Neha. Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
So are we to have you with us. Anab, please tell us something about yourself.
You have already given a very generous introduction, but I am actually from Behraij, which is in UP. I've been living in Delhi for a while. I came here to study, and then I found someone I really liked, and we settled down here in Delhi. So I've been here for about a decade, a little over a decade. Like in a small town, Neha, and even like because of pandemic, all our big cities are also like small towns because you can't go out a lot. There is no place to go to, and you have to stay home. So staying home was a big part of growing up because we were just girls, and so it was like just better to stay home than loiter in the streets. So my sister took to video games and all, and my grandmother taught me knitting. So it was a great way to spend time at home. And I think people in pandemic have really realized that this is great, that this is something that you can do at home. It is inexpensive. It's not very expensive, and by the end of a couple of hours you will have something to call your own. So it's very productive. It's not like
Absolutely.
your time is gone to waste. You can make gifts, you can make stuff for yourself. So possibilities are quite a bit. And I run my own business. It's called Unibayana. I make products and I sell them online. And it's a great way to connect with people, especially because of the pandemic, especially because, I can't see too many people anymore like I used to, like in college or libraries, but that's not happening. So my business also allows me to sort of have a very helpful, creative community on Instagram. So it's very good to connect, with people online. And thank you again for inviting me.
That's lovely, and so very rightly said, Anab, that it's so productive, and handmade things have a charm of their own. And when you spend an hour or two by doing something creative, it's also very therapeutic. It's so relaxing. It's such a stress busting exercise. So I think at the end of the day, instead of giving in a lot of time to TV or Instagram or Facebook, if we start doing something creative, like maybe knitting or maybe drawing or painting, anything, that whatever interests people, I think that would be much much better, not just, I mean, also for our mental health.
Absolutely. Knitting is called the mental yoga, and people have taken to it, especially embroidery, because, and I will show you why it is called that. Because it doesn't require too much thought. Once you have the pattern, once you have the design in place, you can just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. So that makes a, huge deal of difference between doing something in which you have to be constantly invested mentally, or something that, you don't have to be. Initially in the beginning, you have to sort of count the stitches and all. But once you get the hang of it, once you are well on your way, you can do the same thing over and over again. So it sort of really brings you in a zone where you are making something, you are not being wasteful of your time, because we have this obsession with productivity. We can't be spending idle time. Even, our hobbies are productive, and that's how people, and that's how our mothers have done it, forever. Even, that's the way of relaxing.
Yes,
That's relax. So,
yes,
they used to
yes,
sit and watch TV for hours. They couldn't do that because didn't have that kind of leisure time ever. So it's something that,
absolutely.
that has come down to me. It is not something I take no credit at all, Neha, because this is something that has been given to me, given to us by the elder generation, and I respect them for it.
Absolutely.
Even after doing all the house chores and, going for a job and everything, still they could find time to knit and to embroider. So why can't we? We are much more privileged than them in many, many ways.
Yeah, sure. Anab, you may not have the credit of doing it all by yourself and learning it by yourself, but you do have the credit of keeping it alive, which I think is so, so important in today's time.
There's a lot of people
Okay.
are interested, Neha, I think, in learning. The people can't find the material online a lot of times. So I think it's a great way. So when I introduce them to knitting, or if I teach them knitting, they really sort of, a lot of new kids. They want to learn. They want to be hands on with these things. So that's very rewarding, because there is an interest. It's just that, lack of material should not stop anyone at all.
Right. So, in fact, even I learned a lot of crochet by watching YouTube tutorials. And now I think with your help, I'm going to get better in times to come.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So Anab, please tell us, what are you going to teach us today?
So I have my knitting needles. These are bamboo needles, and I really like them. I also give them out in my kit sometimes. So the deal with these is that they are very light and quite useful. And I really recommend, if you can find these online, they're quite easily available. And I have this really chunky yarn so that I can show you. You can see the stitches, and we are going
Right.
to do some basic stitches. They're going to learn how to cast on, how to do a basic knit stitch, and how to cast off. So, for example, if you want to knit this muffler, which I have, so you'll start
You have
from
done
here.
it.
So you'll start from here using a cast on technique, and then keep on. And these stitches, these, they look like they are different, but they are all the same. It's just one stitch repeated over and over again. So there is no variation or anything at all. Um,
So how long does it take, Anab, to make one scarf like this? By the way, it looks
uh,
very, I
that
mean, lovely and very cozy.
It is. It is. It's quite cold in Delhi today. This would take about maybe 12, 12, 10 to 12 hours. So if you do it for 2, 3 hours a day, you can have it like in 4, 5 days.
Yes, I think
Yeah,
quite justified,
depending
no?
on your
To
speed.
12, yeah. So about 12 to 13 hours for a lifetime of product.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does, you want to take care of it also. I think that's the biggest part of handmade because, when you know that so much time and effort and skill has been invested in something, you want to value it, you want to keep it, you want to cherish it, you want to take care of it. If you buy, something random off of the street or, fast fashion, you are easy, you don't feel any pain in letting things go. Oh, it was, just for so much, or it was,
So true.
machine made.
Yes,
See, you don't it's just how we function. It's a natural reaction. If something is handmade, we want to take care of it. We want to be invested completely. I want need to take care of this. This belongs to my mother, or my mother made this for me, or my aunt made this for me. So I think that's like the value of handmade is there, which can never be sort of compensated for in terms of money. And I think that's like an important part of the handmade thing.
absolutely, absolutely, totally agreed with you on that, Anab. Now, thank you so much for talking to me. Now, I'll let you be there on the screen, and for
Thank
all our viewers, and also for me to learn all the valuable skill that you're going to tell us today. All right, so
you.
over to you, Anab.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, so now before starting, I just would like to say a couple of things about knitting and crochet. Most importantly, is that this is not new. By any stretch. But there have at least knitting is at least 3,000 years old, so it has been around for a long, long time. And the part I think we need to realize the most is that if something has persisted through the through these thousands of years, it must be something good. It must be something that people enjoyed. They must have found it productive. They must have found it relaxing. Um, and also the fact that uh, these crafts, since they have been sort of been done by women predominantly, they are not considered. Nobody would consider a knitter an artist by any stretch. Like um, they don't. It doesn't count as art, but it very much does. It very much does. And the kind of skill involved, the kind of aesthetics that are required to make something is important. And I think it's essential to realize that knitting and crochet, it's not just we need to value these art forms for what they are, and value our elder generations who have been doing it for years, and keeping it alive for us. And if it is lost on us, then it's our loss completely. So with that, I encourage everyone to learn. For this, you need just a couple of bamboo needles, or any needle. In fact, these I'm using these because they're easier to demonstrate. Um, to start, we need a working thread, and sorry, this is the working thread and this is the loose end. So to start, what you want to do is take a little bit of thread. So if I need to do maybe 10 stitches, I'll take about this much, about 60 centimeters of thread I'll take, and I'll make a little loop here. And for the loop, what I want to do is yarn over like this, and then pull out from the working yarn over here. And now we have a loop. We need to start, with this loop over here. We'll do that once again. Yarn over and then pull through. And we need to pull it to make it tight so that it's, like a normal, like a small loop, which is good enough for this needle. And then what you want to do is you want to slide this onto the needle. Now you have two ends. One is the loose end, which is like the smaller end, and one is the working end. And what you want to do is to do a cast on is to have like as many number of stitches as you want to start your project. So, for example, this yarn I used, there were 25 stitches for this thickness, but this yarn was thinner. Okay, so this yarn is much more thick. I am going to do only about maybe 8 stitches to get started. And to get started, you want to hold this yarn uh, like so, and then hold the other working yarn in another direction. And uh, and I also make a lot of tutorials. I also make a lot of videos and share them on my Instagram as well. So if you miss out on anything here, you can totally go and work, follow that, and get started as well. And if one thing I always tell my followers and anybody who's starting to knit is that it's very important to, like I said, people have been doing it for years. So there is no problems in sort of having people to help you. So if you can find a neighborhood auntie, if you can talk to your aunt, your mom, or even if your dad or your uncle knows how to knit, you can totally go to them, talk to them, and ask them to help you get started. It's a good way because I learned hands on with my family, and there's no better way than that. So once you have a couple of stitches here, what you want to do is to do a knit stitch. You want to your introduce your needle between the, as you can see, this is the loop. This is the first sort of stitch, and I want to insert my needle in between this stitch. Okay, and then now this loose yarn is of no use for us. We can sort of drop it, and all we need to do is there are 3 steps: introducing the needle, wrapping it around the working needle, and then taking it off. So these 3 steps: introducing the needle, working it around, and then working it off the needle, is all you have to do. And once you have sort of worked this the set of 3, um, you will not be needing to do anything else. It's all of the rest of stitching is only a variation of this. Okay. So, and don't get intimidated if you if you don't get it right the first time. Nobody gets it right the first time, almost no one. So it's, a work of patience. So be patient until you are ready to learn and, ready to work. Starting with a thick yarn always helps, of course, because it's easier to count your stitches, it's easier to see. And make sure that you are not losing any stitches while you are working. So if you started with 10, you should always have 10 on the needle. You should not be losing any stitches because that's important. Um, and then once you have transferred all the stitches to the right needle, you want to switch the needles and then start working with the empty needle again. And this process, I'll show you once again. You want to insert your needle, use the working yarn, wrap it around, and then take it off the needle and onto the first needle. So slowly, what you want to do is uh, move all these stitches over to this needle. This is the empty needle. Okay. And then once this is the empty needle, we'll start working on this. So we have to keep transferring all the stitches back and forth. Um, that's the basic premise. And while adding more yarn to it so that the project keeps increasing in size. Okay. And like I said, if you don't get it right the first time, please do not despair. It does take a little bit of time to learn. It's a skill, and like any skill, it take time. It takes time to learn. There are schools, and not in India, unfortunately, but there are schools to learn crochet and knitting, and you can have like a proper degree and all in designing knitting and crochet projects. And maybe one day, we will have some sort of uh, creative degrees here also. Although we do, but they're not as advanced as that. Look, we already have a little bit of chunky piece here, which is the part that we have knitted just, and we already have like 10 stitches over here. What we want to do is keep doing the same thing unless we have like a substantial, you know, piece to show you what this looks like. Okay. And any needle and any yarn will work. You don't have to get this particular, bamboo needles to learn. I do I prefer them because I've been doing them this for a long time. But if you get regular needles, and in fact, I learned when I was young. I learned on the spokes of a cycle. I don't know if some of you are familiar, but when you are young, you're not allowed to spoil new needles. So something you have to make do with something else. And my uh, mother gave me those spokes to learn on. Any sticks will work practically, but see, it's already, gaining volume. I'll just do a couple of more stitches to show you, just two more lines to show you what it looks like once it's finished. And then I'll also tell you how to do the cast off, sorry, which is a way to, how to end your project. And as you can see, this barely requires any um, attention. Once you get the hang of it, you can keep, you can look at your screen, you can look at, if you're talking to someone, you can look at them. You can take a quick look every now and then, but you don't have to really. If you Once you get the hang of it, you can just do anything that you are doing, and you can carry it. It's a great pastime to carry as well. You can take it to a picnic. You can, do it while traveling. I knit a lot when I travel. It's a great way to pass time. In aeroplanes, there's barely anything to do in an aeroplane. So any time is a good time to knit, basically. Doesn't have to be a special occasion. So see, we have like a substantial chunk here. And I'll quickly show you how to cast off as well. Maybe after this one more line. And you can make this as long as you want. You don't have to stop here at all. You can cast on, any number of stitches, and then keep on knitting until you have the desired length. Like with this muffler, it was started here, and then it was just, one would just I kept knitting until I had about 65 inches for the muffler. And internet is a great tool. You can, if you are having confusions about anything, about learning anything, you're not sure what the measurements are, feel free to go look and find out, what would be a good way to make a muffler, make a cap or anything. So once you have, say for example, I have my desired length already with me. I already have, this is the length that I want. What I would want to do is now knit the first two stitches, and then I'll show you what to do. You want to knit the first two stitches. So first I've knitted, and then second also I'll knit. And then what I want to do is we want to move this second stitch on top of the first stitch. Okay, so I'll just pull it and let it go, and then knit one more. Then I will pull it and let it go. So once you keep doing that, what you will have is a closed end, which is what you want. Okay, some people you do that using needles also. I prefer using it. Look, this is already a closed end. We don't have, it's not on this needle, and we have only like six, I don't know, five remaining here. So we'll quickly do these as well. So at any given point of time, you only have one stitch on your right needle. Okay, and that's how you would want to finish. And once you have just like one stitch, you can let these go. You're done with them, and you can already see that this is a finish. This is the last stitch, and this is the finished piece over here. So you have a cast on at the bottom, and you do knitting, and the number of rows you can see. So one of these lines, so one of these lines means two rows of knitting. Okay, so you have here one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. These are 8 rows of knitting, and you see how quickly that worked. It didn't take too long, maybe 10 minutes. But this is because the yarn is very, very thick. So it's all dependent on the kind of yarn that you are using, the kind of needles that you're using. The thicker the needle, the quicker the weave, and the thinner the needle, the slower the weave. So we already have like a little piece, and this is how you cast on, knit, and then cast off. This is very useful because you can make like a duster out of it. You can make mufflers out of it using just this. You can make a lot of things without even knowing the details of knitting and purling and doing a lot of complicated stitches. Um, so this is it. And if I could have Neha back, we can talk about learning knitting for kids and for adults as well. Neha, will you join me?
Yes, I'm here. And see, this is what I made.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Did I even teach this well? This is really good. Really good, really good. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
I think because you used that chunky yarn, it made it really easy to, see what you were doing. So this was really helpful.
Really good,
Is it
really
does it?
good, really nice. It
And
looks
I think
great. It looks great.
it truly is very useful, Anab. I mean, I couldn't even think that I could, just make with a nice cotton yarn. I could just uh, make a duster instead of using all my old t-shirts. For that, I could actually make, or maybe we could make nice table runners or
Yeah,
even coaster.
absolutely. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And even using t-shirts, Neha, you can make t-shirt yarn. T-shirt yarn is a big thing. So you can, cut out your t-shirt in a particular way, and there are tutorials for that as well. And you can basically make like a ball of thick, thick yarn because it will be like strips of t-shirt. And if
mhm.
you cut it in a certain way, you can have like one long strip, and that you can make, like a hot plate you can make out of it or oven mitts because it's thick, very good.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. What all can we
Mm.
make using knitting and crochet, Anna?
Oh my
Apart from
God,
the
I wish.
usual scarf, muffler, and
Well, bags are a great thing to make. I sometimes also make like these earrings I made. These are crochet flowers, and I just put them on a
smart.
hoop,
Yeah.
and people really liked them. They really liked, like, oh my God, this is so cute. So we just maybe if you are bored, if you do not want to invest 14 hours, right? If you only have like let's say 1 hour, a little a hot plate for your dining table is a great idea. If I make this, big enough, it can make like a very nice duster. This blanket yarn is very good for dusting. Something like this. You can make a little bottle holder. I made a sanitizer holder to hang in my purse. Crochet. I made this cover for my headphones. So I
Earphones.
covered
Wow,
this. Yeah.
that's
So I
lovely color.
covered this. I made a rainbow.
Yes, it looks it looks really very cute and so neat.
Yeah, so a lot can be made. Person also are so good, and people make wearables. I make bikini tops also. You look for beach wear, stuff like that. So look, a lot of things can be made. It's really up to you what you make of it. So the possibilities are truly endless.
So as they say, creativity has no limits. Whatever you can imagine, you
It
can
does.
possibly make out of it.
Yeah, and that's the best part. One minute you have a ball of yarn like this, and sometime later you have a totally new product, and you're like, how did I? And I'm surprised, I made it, and I'm like, wow, this is great. This is, really something that weaving, all kinds of weaving is great. And this is also kind of weave. Crochet knitting is also kind of weave. And it's just so joyful to be able to do this. And I really wish people to learn. I really want them to learn and do it themselves, because it really is truly rewarding.
Truly. In fact, just the other day, I got to know that in the times of Netflix, there is another
Mm.
hashtag that has become very popular, that is Netflix. Can you please tell
It
me
is.
about
It is.
that?
So while doing knitting, so if I'm knitting, for example, I have this muffler. I think I have had my dinner. It's 9:30 p.m. and I'm in my bed or in my lounge, and I have 2-3 hours before I go to sleep. What
Hmm.
I'll do is I'll put on some see some show or some movie, which I can watch for 2-3 hours, and I will keep knitting. So that's the category itself is like a Netflix category, and people keep
Okay.
sharing stuff like that they can watch while doing knitting, which is great, because you can't watch detective stuff while knitting. You have to be, always have to be watching it. So something more drama like or romance maybe, so those kind of categories are great for Netflix, and it's a very popular hashtag. And people really, because it's the best of both worlds. You are watching something, but you're not watching with your hands, right? Your hands are still free. What will you do? You'll probably scroll Instagram every now and then, or you will keep messaging someone, which is great. If you want to do that, that's fine. Sometimes I just put on my headphones in the morning. I talk to my mom for half an hour while doing knitting, because it's a great way to spend time. You can always move your hands and still do a lot of work. Especially the kind of watching or talking, stuff like that.
Absolutely. And it gives you so much joy once it's ready. And
It
if you
does.
gift
It
it to
really
someone
does.
to see them wearing it, it's true joy.
It is. It is, and
And
especially because
Pranav,
we
yeah, please.
especially with gifting, Neha, because gifting has become so difficult. Everybody has everything, right? Nobody's
True.
waiting for you to give
Yeah.
them anything. Nobody really is, because everybody, and good for them. Good for them. I'm not
Yes,
saying that they should be dependent
absolutely.
on me for they everybody has everything. So you are like, oh, what should I give this person? They have everything. So when you make something from hand, it's some that it gives them, so it will give you joy to make it for them. And the fact that they will have something hand that they can never buy. There is no way that they can buy something made by you. Only you can give them that pleasure. So it really is like a great way of gifting. And I started with gifts when I was young. I just used to make and give it away to family, to friends. That's how I'd been doing it commercially. For my business, I only have been doing it for 3 years. But for the last 20 years, I've been doing it for friends and family only, which is very rewarding in its own way. You don't, everything doesn't have to be a business, really.
Yes, yes. Anna, while you were knitting and teaching us how to do that, one of our viewers, Ma'am Rekha Singh, she is the headmistress of a very renowned school in Kanpur. She said
Mm-hmm.
that you remind me of good old days and memories with my mom, watching Sunday movies and knitting. And I think this is so true. Even I can't forget all the memories that my mother and grandmother weaved while they were knitting and doing the embroidery, right? So there were also, so like, I have a story of my grandmother. My dad had to wear a certain sweater to the school next day, and they couldn't buy. So through the night she knit and got that
Oh
sweater
my
for
God.
him. I mean, can anybody ever forget that?
Yeah, it's definitely a joy to be able to do that, and it's a skill. It's a skill that nobody can ever take it away from you. Once you know how to knit, you know how to knit. You can never forget it. It will never go away. So it's like it's something definitely worth learning. And thank you, Rekha ma'am, for saying this. It really means a lot. And I hope that it won't be a memory for you. You should also knit. Everybody who used to knit should specially knit. A lot of people tell
Exactly.
me that they used to knit. They please take it up again and please do it. It's because of people like people who have been knitting, who have instilled in us that this is important. This is something that is valued. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah, in fact, thank you for saying that, because I remember when I was buying a product from you and you said, please don't buy, please do it yourself. I'm sending you the kit,
you.
you make it yourself. And I said, no, I don't have
Yeah.
time. Yeah, so who does that? You know,
Mm.
it's your business and you're saying, no, don't buy, you please make it yourself. So that's really sweet of you to say that. And it's just our first episode, and we've got a lot of viewers who've joined us and they have questions for you. Sahana Mitra says, it seems to be very interesting to learn something productive. And after sometimes she also has said, could you share your page link? I would love to
Hmm.
learn more. So, Anab, if you could share your contact details and
Yeah.
Insta page. We also have Shruti Luthra Sudera. She's asking, do you give online classes, Anab?
I do give online classes. I do host um, regularly some video classes through my page, which I am always posting about on my page, because a lot of people are interested to learn. Like I said, um,
Yes.
I have shared the link. Neha, if you could share it on the page. I think I cannot comment there, but I do teach. I teach, and I also have kids. Which is all inclusive. I'll just maybe show you. So it has all the yarn that you can need, all kinds of yarn, and then I also give this a little bag in which I put everything that you can need, that you will need to sort of. There's the scissors, there is measuring tape, because where will you go looking for these little things. So what when I do make a kit, I'm aware what people might be needing. There is a knitting needle, that's my logo there. There are some needle stitch markers over there. So you're not, wanting for anything. You can always,
So
and this
everything
is
you
a
might need.
crochet hook, and these are knitting needles, like for little ones.
Nice
They
and
are
colorful.
colorful.
Very sweet.
Yeah, so that kids are interested. This was a kid, especially for kids starter, young crafter knitting kit that I had put together. So everything is here. There's everything that you might need. Especially because sometimes what happens is that saman nahi mila. So if you're unable to source stuff, source material, that becomes a hindrance to not do a craft. But that shouldn't stop you ever. You should always look for ways to learn something new, because it's very, very rewarding, like I've said multiple times, and it can never go away. It's something that will be with you forever. So I think that's a great way to look at it. That's something, you have nothing to lose, and you have everything to gain.
Absolutely, and I think that kit is a brilliant idea. I would love to have one too. Maybe to make this scarf for myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Why
and
not? Why not?
also like I'm from Kolkata, and we don't really have too many stores where we get good quality yarns and all. So I think have getting a kit where you get everything that you might need for kitting knitting is a brilliant idea. So I have shared your Instagram link on the
Thank
chat.
you.
I
Thank you.
hope all the viewers please take this link, copy this link, go to Instagram, follow Uni by Anab. You'll be so happy to see her page. Her page is full of such lovely, cute,
You're too
uh,
generous. Thank
creative
you.
stuff,
Thank you so much.
from rakis to earrings to very smart bags, which are very sturdy as well. So, when we think of knitting, we can't think of anything beyond maybe a sweater or a scarf, and we think it's so big, it's going to take a
Hmm.
long time.
No,
Just
summer
look.
knitting is also a big thing. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Summer knitting is a big, big thing. And I manufacture my own cotton yarn also, because I was
Okay.
unable to find, good quality cotton yarn. It's available. My sister lives in London, and they have so much choice. I was spoiled for choice. I was like, why don't we have it? So I partnered with a manufacturer, and I also make and sell hanks and cones of cotton yarn, because nothing should stop. Material should not stop you from learning. At least that's my thing. You should have access in this day and age of online, shopping and all. If you can buy clothes, if you can buy fruits, fruits online, you should be able to buy yarn online. It's really it shouldn't be that difficult.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Anna, for joining us. It was truly a pleasure to have you. You took us back to, our younger days, school days, when we had to do all this in work education. And I think it's time we bring back and go back to, slow living and trying to be more productive and make handmade stuff in this age of fast fashion. I think it's
Yeah,
very, very
and have
important for
fun
all
doing
to
it.
do
It's a
that.
lot of fun.
Yes.
People just, if especially if young people do it, everybody's looking at you like, wow, how are you doing it? Like, this is, I don't have to wait to be a grandmother to do knitting. I don't have to wait to be old. I can do it right now. So, because,
Yes,
our
yes. I
grandmothers
think
didn't learn when they were old. No, they used to knit when they were young, when they were, in their youth, they used to, we just saw them knitting when they were grandmothers. They had been knitting, all their lives. So we don't have to wait to grow old and, senile to be able to knit. We can very much learn and knit while we are young.
okay. So thank you, Anna, for joining us. Thank you for your
Thank
message.
you.
Thank you for teaching us. I hope more and more people get inspired from our show to get back to knitting, to get back to crochet. Thank you once again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mia. It was a
So, friends, that was Anab from Uni by Anab, helping us understand knitting, helping us learn knitting, and I'm sure we will be inspired to get back to handmade, and we aspire to bring more people, to bring more handicraft, art, creativity to all of you, so that we can look at our creative side and get back to doing things that interest us and which make us more productive, make us enjoy our own company more and more. So, this is Neha Bagdi from the very first episode of Creative Times saying bye bye. Hope to see you very soon. The Creative Time show is going to be broadcasted on the School Times web channel every first and third Tuesday from 5 p.m. So, see you in our next episode. Thank you so much for joining. Bye bye.